Hello, my name is Lillian Brown, and I did my research on the amount of carbon emissions that come out of soil that contains varied manganese dioxide amounts. Prior to this project, I knew absolutely nothing about manganese or manganese dioxide. To do this project, I had to do deep research, and in this research, I learned that manganese dioxide is found in many locations such as plants, soil, and in animals. When found in high concentrations in any of these locations, it can be extremely detrimental to the organism or area. I also learned that manganese dioxide is a catalyst, meaning it speeds up the process of chemical reactions. While researching, I found a study that discussed the observation that in areas and forests where soil contained higher manganese dioxide amounts, there was increased carbon levels in the atmosphere directly above that area. This is what inspired me to do my project. Manganese dioxide is made up of one manganese part and two oxygen parts. They are very necessary in many biological processes. However, it's unproven if manganese levels directly cause increased carbon emissions, which my project aims to prove. My project would create a link in gap in the missing research currently in the scientific community, as it is not known if manganese dioxide in soil directly impacts the amount of carbon that is released from soil. So therefore, in my project, I decided to have different groups of soil containing different percentages of manganese dioxide, such as 0%, 0.5%, and 0.75% and 1% of manganese dioxide. I hypothesized that the group containing 1% of manganese dioxide would release the most amount of carbon, as I believed that there was a possible connection between the amount of CO2 in the air around areas where manganese dioxide in soil was more prevalent. These are my materials. I tried to use very limited materials as I wanted to keep this project simpler so I could focus on the data. For my methods, I used the weight of pots and soil to decide how much manganese to put in through a percentage, and that calculation is on these slides. For my data, I used an ANOVA test to compare the averages between the highest level of carbon produced versus the control group. These are images of my setup. As you can see, there are some CO2 sensors that are the main technology used in this experiment. For me, this was a very new experience because I have never used CO2 sensors or the software that is used to translate and record the amount of CO2 that is released. I received help from my lab administrator, who is my teacher, as well as classmates that have used software and devices like this before. This was very important to me because I learned many new things about this area of science that I wasn't necessarily interested in or knowledgeable about beforehand. As for my results actually proved my hypothesis incorrect. The groups of soil that contain 0.5% manganese dioxide release the most amount of carbon in a significant stance. I thought this was quite confusing, as this is definitely not what I expected, and in the future, I believe more research could be done on this as part of a future project that I could possibly do. I believe that more research could be done on this, especially on a grander scale, to prove if 0.5% manganese is how much is normal in soil or is above how much is not actually normal in soil. This graph depicts the levels of carbon dioxide as for my trial 2. The line in blue is the amount released from the 0.5 group. My interpretation of data was that my hypothesis was incorrect, but the 0.5 group released the most amount of carbon. In future studies, I would like to complete this on a larger scale, and I think this would really impact global and climate change studies, as if manganese dioxide could be released from soil, it could help impact climate change. As for my data collection, I faced a lot of trials as I made a lot of mistakes, but I also learned a lot of new things. and these are my references. Thank you.